So we just went over this with the first thing. So how to use the indicators properly, right? So let's take a look at this. So first thing is, here's our indicators at our bottom. Our volume turns green here, right? So that's a good signal that we're looking for a buy. As we go up, our RSI is moving towards the top, but more importantly, we're above our moving, the candle is broken above the 10 moving average. And you notice here, you see our trend line mark? The trend line just turned green right here. You see how it turned green right there? Can you see that? You see how that turned green right there? See, it was red here, and now it turned green on this candle. You see that? You see that, Mark? So that tells me now our trend is actually moving up. So now I look down here and I see that our volume is starting to push up. Now I'm getting really interested in getting ready to get into this coin, because I'm breaking above the... Oh, you good, AK? You good, bro? I got you, man. You like family, bro. What you talking about, man? Yo, you guys don't know, man. AK's like family, man. So if he ever says anything, I just take time, because that's my guy, man. That guy's been with me for a year and a half, and you know, I respect the people that follow me for a long time, and you know, anything I can do to help you guys is always, like, you know, always in there. But yeah, I would in the next 2 weeks, bro, I would start picking up Jasmine, okay, AK? I would put a little money in there, bro. All right, so now, guys, you see where we're turning green on this trend line, right? And then right here, we're above our 50, meaning that the volume is now on the top, and it broke through right here. So this is the bottom, right? So let me see if I can draw a line in here. So now that it's on top of this section where it became the top of volume, my trend line turns green, right? So buy signal, trend turning green, that's a buy signal. And then now I'm above my 10 moving average, getting ready to buy, and boom, as soon as this thing comes up and comes down and this triggers, boom. I mean, I could literally get in this trade right here when this trend line turns green, and this volume button right here. So I could be getting in this trade the moment this turns green here at 32.80, but waiting for the buy signal to come in is okay, because that's 33 and a half. I mean, it's a difference of 1%, which is 6% gains, which is, you know, it's okay. And so right here, thanks, bro, I appreciate you, dog. And I would be buying in here, because now I've got everything I need. I got green, I got a trend line green, I got a buy signal green, I got them above the 10 moving average. This is a solid buy, right? So here we're locking in, and once again, I lock in my buy, whatever I get in at, let's say 33 and a half. Now, once again, I do my profits, and my profits are very simple. I needed to move every half a penny is a percent. 2% is a penny. So I need to go from 33 and a half to 34 and a half. All right, so this is where I need to move this up here. Oh, where the hell's my line? So 34 and a half, that's where I take, remember, 34 and a half is where we take 25% of our profit, which basically makes the trade free. Remember that, 25% of the profit makes the trade free. Now, my next thing is to get my other 25% of the trade, which is basically going to be 35 and a half, right? So let's find our 35 and a half, which is right here. That's where I take my other 25%. So now I'm in profit no matter what. And once that target hits, I move my stop loss up to my first target that I took my 12% gains. And then once my 24% gains hit, then I move my stop loss up to the 12% gain. So no matter what happens, if I get stopped out, I make 12% on my profit, okay? That's like mandatory. Now, we got all that, guys? Jasmine! Yeah, Jasmine, bro, Jasmine. All right, so now, Now this trade is moving. Here we go. We're watching our move. Our RSI is kicking in. And right here, we get a nice, here's this candle that pops up, right? Now, sometimes you're going to get wicked out on some crazy, yo, VC, what up, Fresh? What up, baby? Sometimes you're going to get wicked out with, big moves down. And this is where you have to say to yourself, if you take, and this is kind of like what I do, right? So this is where I will push the limits a little bit more. Once I get my profits from the original price to the 24% profits, right? Meaning that I'm taking 24% on the entire trade. I don't normally like move my stop loss up to that first level because I'm going to let it ride. What I really do is I just move my stop loss up to my original entry. So because that means no matter what happens, I've already got my 24% of my gains. I can't lose money here if it goes all the way back to the original spot and it sells out, right? I still made 24% gains right there, and I'm pretty much in a free trade, right? So what I do is I will put my stop loss, once I hit my 24% gains, I will put my stop loss right where I started, like maybe 1% up, or what they call 6% up. So it would be 33 and a half. So I would move it to 34 cents. And that's where I would lock in my, my stop loss normally, where I would lock it in, But honestly, once I hit that 24%, I'm in a position where I'm going to kind of let it ride out and I don't worry about it, because I always know there's pullbacks. But that 24%, you have to think about it is, you're taking 24% on $250, $250. And that just means at that point, that's going to pay for the cost of doing this trade. And I'm looking for a bigger win. So a lot of times I'll just keep my stop loss at my entry point, right? And then I'll just ride this out, because there's always some type of like liquidity grab or some type of sell off or some shit that happens, right? And so I would keep my stop loss where I entered. I just make sure that I take my profit here and I take my profit here, and I keep my stop loss at my entry. Okay. Now, as we start to move through this, you go all the way up. We're chilling, and then as soon as we see this red sign come in going down, and I see the RSI breaking down here, like if you're quick enough, you could catch this trade here and you could say, okay, I want to jump out. Now, the reason why I'm not, jumping out of this trade that early is because I'm looking at the big movement, which is my trend line, right? See my trend line? This trend line is super, super powerful, man. This is real deal shit here, man. This is one of the best indicators out there. So here's your trend line, right? And you see how it's still green, right? So that gives me a little things that once I've already hit my 2 profit lines, I can take this risk, right? I can wait for that trend line to change until I get gains that are just like ridiculous, But to be honest with you, man, this entry here at 33, this level here is basically 38 cents. That's 10%. And on 10%, that's this is 120% gains, bro. All right, hold on, Mark. I just want to explain this to you right here real quick. Now, on the main thing about everything that we're doing here, you see this trade right here? Remember I tell you that the main thing is to double your bag, right? So once we get to this percent here, which is 10%, right? A 10% movement, that basically means that is 120% gains. Once we make 100% gains, which would be right in this zone here, 100% gains would be right here. This is 100% gains. This is where we would take our profit, right? And we would basically sell out and be like, all right, this is where we're looking. So at that point, we have successfully doubled the $1,000 bag. Once again, we got in on the 16th and we got out on the 17th, right? So there's $1,000. We doubled our bag. There is no need to be greedy. This is where you take your double and you kind of just say, I'm happy here. And as soon as the volume starts to fall down, you just take the profits, right? So we see that little thing come down, but once you hit your double up mark, just take the profits and then move to the next trade. Okay, man? Go ahead, go to bed, man. I'll send you another link to the video, but I appreciate you, man. Thanks for buying the course. I look forward to working with you and helping you, get to where you need to go. Get some rest out there in the UK. Have a good night, my friend, and I'll get you some more videos. All right, so guys, this is where we're at here. So remember, this entire game is about making money. So once we hit our double, so this is us making another $1,000 on our $1,000 bet or entry, right? So at that point, we're selling out. Now let's say that you're going along and you see this red candle start to pop up here and you see this sell sign. To me, when I get this red candle here, right, that's a lot of times that's where I'm going to be basically selling out of my position and taking my profit because I've already hit my level. It's so, and the kind of like the key to it is you have to think about the whales and the people that are investing in front of you, right? Most of the time, the whales and the big people, the traders that are making money trade like me. And once we hit a percent of 80% to 100%, we're going to sell because we don't really care because we've hit our goal and then we move on, right? So a lot of times you have to understand that people are going to sell their profits. Like no one's going to hold on forever. So once you make that certain level of profit, you have to just take the profit because other people will, right? So this comes down to here. As soon as you see this, your volume start to dip down and it drops down to here, that's an indicator to say, okay, I'm getting the hell out of this trade and that's where I'm at. And normally what you want to do is once you start getting above this level here, you would be moving your stop loss up to your 80% profit level, which is in this zone right about here. And once this candles are starting to break above here, I would be moving my stop loss here because I'm already at 80% gains, right? So when this candle hits and it drops down, it's okay that I lost that 20% or 40% there. It hurts a little bit, but honestly, $800 is as good as $1,200, right? I mean, and this is people being greedy. So this is worst case scenario. But once you see this run here and you see this big push, I mean, this is profit time as soon as this green falls off. And my profit indicator for me would have been at that level, would have been as soon as this RSI starts to drop here. You see the RSI right here? As soon as that starts to drop, that's where I would be selling off, right? Now, a key to this is that once you hit that, exactly. Once you hit a certain level of like profits and everything, what you can do is to kind of help you get what they say like a better view of it, right? So we're on the 4 hour, but once we start breaking above our 80% or what? Thanks, James. John James, baby. Once we get above the profits of that 80%, you can always slide your 4 hour down to your 3 hour. And this will give you kind of like a quicker insight of like when you should sell. I like to go from the 2 hour or the 4 hour down to like the 2 hour moves, right? And this is also a really good indicator here to make some money. I like to trade on the 4 hour. I love to trade on the 4 and the 2 hour. Those are my two things that I train in. And this is kind of like, here's your entry at 33. You're coming up. There's your profit. And here's your sell sign hits. And the sell sign comes at 38 cents. So that's kind of like, you can use the 2 hour to get out of a trade. So that's a little bit of a secret there for you, Mark, that you can watch this video to the end and you can figure out. But once you get into a buy on your 4 hour, then you can rock and roll and you can ride that 2 hour sell sign, which happens to come here. And all you know is when the sell sign triggers, as you can tell if you look close enough, your trend line, your moving average is right here. It starts to break below the moving average, and then the trend line changes in here. So you're getting out at about 37 cents around that area. And here's your yellow and here's your red. And use the 2 hours to basically get out of your trades. And you can go back and look at all your trades and then compare them with the 2 hour to see if they would have helped you get out earlier, and you understand what I mean. But yeah, go ahead, look at all the videos and kind of go where we're at. So I'm gonna save this video for you, and then you can basically go back and watch it. But that's a little trick of the trade there. You can use to make sure that you're gaining all the massive profits that you need to get when you're making your decisions when you're trading. Okay, so now let's take a look at this trade that we're in. So now XRP, we would have went into a sell. All right, so now the last thing that we have on XRP is a 4 hour buy, right? So let's go here to our buy signal and let's see where we're at. So we have a buy signal pop up here. We turn green, and we have a green, very importantly, we have a green trend line. We have a buy signal, and we're above our 10 moving average, which means that we would be getting in here at about 36 cents, 37 cents, and we'd be rocking and rolling, and then it turns green right here. So no matter what, you're getting in at 38 cents, right? So let's say you're completely slow, you missed the target, here's your buy signal, you get in, so 37 cents. So now we're currently in an XRP long, and yo, baby, is that you? Baby?
Yeah.
Is that you?
Where?
I don't know, it sounds like a demon. Barking at the door, is that you? No. Okay, so now at this point, this is the entry, right? So we're getting in. Why are we getting in on this, right? Bolt massively spikes in daily and average 20% day. Okay, I'll take a look at that Bolt, bro. I got you. So here we go. We got RSI's at the bottom. We got the 20 moving average above it. We have the 200 moving average, which is orange above it. But more importantly, let's just do our indicators, right? So we're moving here. We have a green indicator saying the trend is up. We have a buy signal. That's 2 winning. Our RSI is above the 30 moving up, 3 winning. We're green above, this just turned yellow and we're moving up, and a buy signal, and we're above the 10 moving average. We buy into this at 37.5. So now we're in a 37.5 long, right? So once again, do your math, 37, 38.5, which would be right here. That would be the first places that you take profit, right here. And we were able to take profit there, and then we need 39.5 right here. That'd be our second place that we take profit. And now that we've got all those profits, we don't lose any money on this trade because we've already made money on the trade. So now let's see where we're at. So now we're going, we can see here that we turn yellow here, but our trend line is still green. So we're not selling out here because we're above on the half, and we've already hit our 2 profits. So we're staying in this trade because we've already hit our 2 profit margins, and we're coming across, and currently at this time going down, it's still above the 10 moving average, so that's not going to scare us. And then by the time that it falls below the 10 moving average, the 10 moving average is still pushing up. Like, you see the direction of the 10 moving average? So that moving up right there, that 10 moving average moving up, means that we still have upward pressure, right? So we're not going to sell even though we see one of these yellows go down. It doesn't really matter, because here's the thing. We are above, our 10 moving average is still going up, and the 20 moving average is still going up. So that tells us this is an uptrend. Then we have the green trend line telling us this is an uptrend. So right now, we're not selling out of this position even though we had a yellow piece come in, because we haven't hit 100% or 80% gains. We have only hit 24% gains, which means we still have room for the biggest people in this trade to take profits, and they're not taking profits until they get to the 80% mark. So this is still a go. So then we see that this is just a retracement. It comes down, it drops below, and then all of a sudden we start to build pressure. We turn green. The RSI is at the bottom. All right, bada boom, bada bing. We start to push up here. This is perfect. Now we're pushing up. Here's our movement. We get back above the 10 moving average, which is perfect. Now we're rocking and rolling, and now we have to say to ourselves, okay, where are we taking profits? I forgot where we got in. We got in at what? 37 cents, 37.5. So you would have to be 5%. So 37.5 means that it needs to be 5 cents. So 37.5 would be 38, 39, 40, 41, 42 and a half, right? 42.5%. So then we go to 42.5%, which is right in this little zone here. And this 42.5% means that we now have hit our 42.5. Where are you? 42.5. Right here, which means that we have made 100% on our trade, which means our $1,000 is now worth $1,200 again. So we're up another $1,200 on this trade. And now, as we're moving, we're still above. We haven't, the 10 moving average is still going up. So even though this starts to turn yellow on us here and we're moving down, the 10 moving average is moving up, the 20 is still moving up, and the trend line is still green. And, so we're not in really, we still look good. So we stay in this trade, and now we're green again, and we're pushing all the way up again. And now we're at the point where finally, as we come up, you see the 10 moving average, you see how it's finally starting to break down. You see how it's starting to curve here. This white line, you see how it's curving now? And now we're below the 10 moving average, but the 20 moving average is, normally these cross when it goes the opposite direction. So now what we're looking for is this to test this 20. So somewhere around here is a testing zone. So most of the time this coin is going to drop down and it's going to test and then come back up, right? And then wherever this little 10 zone is, that's kind of where it breaks down. And then around here, around 45 cents, we'll probably have another breakdown. But currently, we're slowly getting below our 10 moving average. Now, to get a better read on whether or not where we should have took profits here, right? Because right now, we wouldn't take profits until we break below the moving average, and this is, red. None of these are red yet, but this right here would say, RSI is at the bottom, or this yellow here would be kind of like a sell sign. And this one, they're still on top though, they're still up. But this one right here, this yellow that's below, that would be a sell sign. And we would look here and say, okay, what do we see at this mark? At this mark, at this mark right here, we do see that we dropped below and now our volume's negative. We are under our 10 moving average, and the moving average is dipping. So this would be a sell area right here at 49.99, right? So now let's use the little tip trick that we use with our indicators. Let's go from the 4-hour to the 2-hour, and let's go back and take a look at our trade here to see where we're at. So now with the 4-hour and the 2-hour, we can see that our trade, when it hit this 55 mark and it was coming down right here, and this level here at 48, this is where, we're starting to see a sell sign pop up, right? So a lot of times we use the 2-hour to take profits. Now, because of this, green coming in here, we see the RSI breaking down here, this candle turning green, we would be taking profits at this level right here. Like, it's kind of like a cheat sheet, but this candle turning red, touching the 100, and definitely right here when it breaks through the 100, we would have took profits right at this level here, which would be about 49.5. 49.5. So right now, it looks like at 49.5 we would be in a short here, right? Now, confirmation of this short before we can enter this short, right? Even though we're taking profits here because we have 2 red candles, our volume's gone, our RSI is down, and we're red, and we broke the 100 here. Our profit's at 49 cents here with our volume going below the half, right? So 49 cents, 49 cents and a third, or 49 cents right here. It doesn't matter where you got out, but 49 cents you would get out. Now we can't enter a short here, okay? Because we're in a consolidation, right? And the consolidation is because you see my trend line, like you see my green trend line right here? This green trend line, you see this line coming up here? That's a trend line that I have on my indicators. So part of the trainings that we do and indicators that we do when you do if you take our training course, right? You take my training classes, you get all the indicators that you see in front of you, set up, adjusted, made for you to work together. So it tells you, you know, with a very simple formula that anyone can use. You don't have to be a trader, never have to trade in your life. Just have to follow simple instructions and videos that we send out to you. And all this basically is with this trading here, that lets me know that right here on this down volume here, and I'm below the, you know, this is a sell area at 49 cents right in this zone here. Like bada boom, bada bing. This is where we would be selling here, 49 cents. Now, we cannot go into a short because we don't have anything that lines up as a short. And what I mean by that is we have volume that's low, but our RSI is already at the bottom, right? So we can't do any short here because the RSI is already short. Now we have a sell sign, which is great. So we have 1, 2, 3 items, but we need more than that to go into a short. We were underneath our 10 moving average, which is great. But the problem is you cannot enter a short until the trend line, this green line, you see this green line here? That's the trend line. I can't enter a short, and you can't use these indicators and enter a short until this indicator on the 2-hour goes red, right? Now I go back to the 4-hour just to basically get extra confirmation. And right now on the 4-hour, I mean, I'm in the same predicament, right? I only use the 2-hour to take profits early, so I'm taking max profits. And right now, if you, let's say you don't use the 2-hour trick and you're just in this trade would basically have got you sold out right in here, which is still 48 cents, 48.2. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's still pretty close to using the 2-hour trick. The 2-hour trick just gets you an extra, you know, 1%, which does add up. That's an extra 6%. And when you're dealing with, you know, 12%, if you're dealing with $1,000, I mean, that's 120 bucks. So using the 2-hour trick to take profits even earlier is a $120 trick, right? But let's just say you stay in the 4-hour and you don't. Right here, the way you would have sold is right here when this coin turned upside down and went negative volume and you were below the 10 moving average and the 10 moving average is heading down, then you would have sold right here and you would have got out at 48.3, which basically means that you still would have made a good amount of profit here. And so you can just stay on the 4-hour, guys, all right? So you're good there. Now, we cannot go into a short or because of the 2 hours on a short signal, you can't go in a short because the trend is still green, right? So right now we're just consolidating, guys. All right, let me close this video.